Hello and welcome to my show TikTok, where we talk about what makes successful people tick and what it took for them to pursue their passions, follow their dreams, and achieve their goals. I first met our guest in 1999. I was editor in chief of Cosmo, but also overseeing Preview. And this interior design fresh graduate who was working in a home store just out of the blue very bravely walked into our office one day, asked me if she should quit her job and be a model. Guess what I told her? She landed a preview cover that day, got into the Professional Models Association of the Philippines, became a top model, built her professional interior design practice and business, got into TV hosting for interior design shows, and is now an expert content creator with a blog called Marilen Styles, through which she has launched a lucrative business as an interior and product stylist and endorser. No one else was more prepared for the pandemic lifestyle-wise, as she had already been working from home and homeschooling her kids for a couple of years. That is, until she herself got COVID. She survived it and has been sharing her story since with others, as well as meaningful content focused on hope, positivity, resilience, and the power of creating beautiful surroundings to improve our quality of life. Please help me welcome Marilen Faustino Montenegro.
Hi, Myrza.
Oops. Uh-oh. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for the
Hi.
introduction. What a concise introduction. With history.
With history. Well, I'll never forget that day because you just appeared out of nowhere.
Literally. I
Literally.
remember. Yes, yeah.
What's the year, right?
Yeah, you
1999.
got the year correct. Exactly. I
And do you
remember
remember that day?
the day. I don't remember the day, but I remember being nervous until I
Right.
said, nothing's going to happen if I don't do this. If I
Yeah.
stay timid, if I stay shy, nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
And so what do I
Right.
have to lose, right? And so
Imagine
I
if you
walked into your
never
office.
imagine if you never did it.
Yes. And thankfully you were so nice. Imagine if I had walked into an office with an editor like Anna Winter. Wala na.
But do you remember why you went there? Like, I don't know if you knew me already or who
Of
did you
course I knew
know?
you. Who
Oh,
doesn't know
okay. So you
you?
look for me talaga.
I really looked for you. Okay, so I had already been doing TV commercials. And I remember presenting to you, I think, such unprofessional photos that was like snapshot photos taken by my agent for 3 TV commercials
Right.
that I had done. And so I said, I remember thinking, "Oh, this is good. This is so nice." Right? I'm thinking, I'm just gonna present it, and looked you up because I was reading your magazines already. I looked you up. I looked for the address and said, "Nako."
And tamang-tama, there was a preview cover girl contest.
Yes.
And I think we were very dismayed already by parang the lack of potential winners. And then you arrived and we're like, I think we have a winner. And
Thank you so much.
then what happened after that?
After that,
So did you quit? Did you quit your job?
yes, you know what? I remember after that, I was doing a couple of print, like fashion and beauty editorials for Summit Media for your
Right,
magazine, and I really liked it. And then I remember it was you that said, you should join PMAP.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember this? Somebody
Uh,
invited me, but at that time I
okay.
was still studying. And so I
Right.
said, don't think it's the right time because I'm still in college and I'm not done.
Oh, you weren't a graduate yet. Okay.
Yes. And then a couple of years later, you said, Marilen, PMAP is having a screening
Audition. Okay.
and I really think that you have the potential. So please go. And I'm like, okay, game, I'm going. Mirza says so, and Mirza believes in me that I can do it. And so I did. I went to that screening and I got accepted as a probationary member because they wanted me to lose 5 to 10 pounds. I think it was 10
Oh,
pounds.
really? Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. And so, diba, if you want something, you really do it. I remember I would exercise every day for 1 hour. And I was really watching what I ate. Yeah. And then things just started falling into place. I was getting shows. I had my print ads. I had my TV commercials.
Right,
And
right.
eventually, I went to my boss and said, I'm going to resign because I want to give this a shot. It's now or never while I'm still young. And he
Right.
was so disappointed because he said, I was going to bring you to Cebu. How will I introduce you to Mrs.
Oh.
Aboitis? Like, sorry.
But then it wasn't the end of that career, right? Because eventually you found your way back to that career. I remember also you asked me, should I cut my hair short? I'm like, do it. Go to this place.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I had the longest I had longest hair for quite some time, and I said, "Should
Right.
I put some bangs? Should I cut it short?" And he's like, "Yes, yes, do it." And then you know what? You were so kind. You made an editorial pa. You gave me an editorial with that story. Basta like I had a new look. I still have
Vincent
it,
and
that
hair.
photo. Yeah.
I'm not naman kind to just anyone, right? Syempre, you look good also.
Yeah, but thank you so much for the influence, the mentorship. I really look up to you
Oh my
and
gosh.
your career and everything that you've done. And then remember, there was Singapore.
Oh, what
When
was
I
that? I
went
don't
to
remember.
Singapore with Nicolette, with
Okay.
Fortune, you were the one that gave us advice because you lived in
Oh,
Singapore. You modeled
right.
in
I
Singapore.
modeled there. Yeah. Oh, I don't
Yeah, and
remember.
then you introduced us to Russell Wong.
Oh, hi, Russell. If you're watching, he's always watching.
I don't know if he remembers me, but we went to his house and he entertained us in his nice garden home. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. That was what, almost 20 years ago.
so long
And
ago, probably 2003.
and look at you now. I'm the one now asking you for advice. So the tables have turned, and you're now my guru. How's before that? How's everything? You're in Subic now, locking down in Subic.
Yes, that's right. So I have two young kids, 10 and 8, and we live in a condo in Makati. So while they were really good kids and never really complained, I kind of felt bad for them being locked up, cooped up the whole time. We couldn't even go out to take a walk by the park that's right in front of us. And
Right.
so when the house, my mother-in-law's house in Subic, got vacated by the tenants, we took the opportunity, had it disinfected. I had to shop for all the house stuff. It was like I was shopping for my own interior design project because I had to buy plates, I had to buy
Oh
linen,
wow.
bed sheets,
Wow.
appliances, because everything had been sold before. And so we said, okay, let's stay here. Originally, we were supposed to be here for only 2 weeks. Then it turned to 3 weeks until it became MECQ. And we're like, okay, so I guess we're here. We tried getting all the permits to maybe send the staff down, the driver, so that they can get a few stuff for us, like things that we
Okay.
needed. But then they're super strict, which is good.
Right.
And we are actually enjoying it here. And so my husband says, let's just stay here for as long as we can because the kids can actually go out. They get to bike, they get to scooter, they
Oh
play
wow.
with their ball. Um, it's been great.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's also proving that these days you can really live anywhere because of the wonders of technology. And as I mentioned in the intro, you were already kind of locked down prepared because you had been working from home for a while and also homeschooling. I remember uh, we had lunch in February. Can you believe it's been 6 months?
Yes.
And then you
Wow.
said that you just finished homeschooling, which you do every day, and now it's the reality of everyone.
Mhm.
Can you talk about this lifestyle and how it was easy for all of you, I guess, to adapt? So maybe the kids didn't even have to adjust.
Yes. Yeah, that's really true. As a matter of fact, I'm getting so much messages and inquiries about homeschooling. But to start from the very beginning, way back when my son was 3 years old, my friends were already homeschooling, a
Oh,
couple of them. And so we would see them and play with them maybe once a week because we'd meet together for some mommy time or some Bible study time. And they were homeschooling. And so I decided to do it for my son. So I consider it one of my greatest accomplishments to have taught my son how to read and how to write. And I really enjoyed it actually. So I did homeschool him until he was about 6 years old. Then, when he was six, we moved to Hong Kong. We lived in Hong Kong for 2.5 years. And while we were in Hong Kong, we found an excellent progressive international school. And we put him in there, and he loved it, and I loved the school also. And the system of the school was actually so awesome because they would ask for parent volunteers every now and then, and I had a great relationship with their teachers, so great that even after we left Hong Kong we still kept in touch. So fast forward to the time when we left Hong Kong and had to return back to the Philippines 2.5 years later. We found a school for the kids here. Not gonna mention what school it is, but it was an international school. My kids really hated it. They didn't like it because me thinking there's international in the label kind of for me made me think that okay, it would be very similar to the school in Hong Kong where they learn through play, through progressive education, and it was also very inquiry based. But my son would come home and they would both say it's the worst school ever. And he'd say, Mom, all we do is do worksheets, worksheets, worksheets. And so when I heard that, I'm like, no, okay. So to make the story short, my husband said, why don't you just go back to your homeschool group? And they have friends there who then they've kept in touch with. And so that's what we did. We put them back in homeschool. And so that was 2018. It's now 2020. We just finished 2 whole school years of me homeschooling both kids here in Manila. And it works for us.
right. Is it hard as people think it is, or not? Because you mentioned to me when we had lunch that there is a lot of readily available materials that are very helpful.
Yes, there is a lot of materials that is available. I use a curriculum, it's a US curriculum. It already comes with a teacher's manual. But because I like to execute it similar to the way that the school in Hong Kong executed theirs, I sort of mix things up a bit when it comes to the application. And so we're not always just facing the computer screen or writing on worksheets. We really do a lot of hands on things. And if you go to websites like maybe Pinterest in itself, you will find so many homeschool blogs and
Right,
so many materials that you can actually just print out or ideas on a certain topic about projects that the children can do.
right,
So uh patience, maybe you need a certain amount of patience, but that's only because you don't understand what the children need.
right,
What you need to remember is they need to learn through play,
right,
and so you need to enjoy that process with them.
right. I cannot even imagine how uh, anyone could do that as well as all the things that you do, because in addition to that, you also have your blog, which is kind of a business in itself. You want to talk about how you built your blog and built your brand and how it's all intertwined with your interior design practice and all your other talents, because it's a marriage of your many passions, your interior design,
Right.
interior styling, writing, maybe the training you got in photography from modeling.
Yes,
You
that's
shoot
so, that
yourself, you
really
shoot
helped.
children, you test beauty products. Can you talk about that?
Yes,
Give us
right.
a few tips.
Um, yeah, the training that you get from modeling, that is so true. Having done a couple of TV commercials, it really honed my eye for detail. Because when you are a model in a TV commercial, you see how professional the people around you are working, and they don't stop until you get a shot perfect. And there it goes through layers and layers of screening before a certain number of seconds for that scene passes. And so that really developed my eye for detail. Um, I sometime in between the modeling and my own interior design firm. So I put up my own interior design firm alongside my modeling, and I'd have my own clients. In between that, I was able to merge those two careers because I hosted a couple of TV shows. For back then it was ABC5, QTV 11, all those channels that are no longer existent, right? And that also really developed something in me, which is the professionalism. I learned so much professionalism from PMAP, which is the modeling industry in the Philippines, but also from being a TV host on TV, because it taught me that I need to have a certain reputation, and I need to hold myself to a certain standard. And so I was able to take all those with me and use them as I dealt with my own interior design projects. Somewhere down the road, I think it was in 2011, I had just given birth to my second baby. So I found myself at home most of the time. And I said, I need to do something at home to keep me busy and to somewhat set the pace for income in the future aside from the interior design. And that's when I put up marilenstyles.com, which was a blog. And I really enjoyed writing so much that I ended up contributing as a writer to several international websites and magazines. And it became a real passion, and I love doing it. And I feel like when it comes to interior design, I can just go on and talk about it. And just last year, I was so blessed to be chosen to be one of the judges for the apartment. And I love that so much. It was like writing, but you verbalize it and you discuss interior design with all these amazing celebrity judges that I was so fortunate to have worked with and met. But yeah, so the blog is still ongoing. You asked how I do everything. I
Yes.
don't yeah, I don't write on
Oh,
my
no.
blog so much anymore because things are focused on social media right now.
Right.
But I do have a virtual assistant that
Oh, that's the secret.
yeah.
Is it a person or a bot?
She's a person. She's a
Okay.
lovely, lovely person. So she is in charge of talking and dealing with all the sponsored posts that are put up on my blog. So my blog is mainly now for sponsored posts, companies from I think it's mostly US that want to promote a certain product in a subtle way. So she deals
Wow.
with them. She collects the money, the income. Sometimes she publishes the articles, but I still proofread everything, and I still write a couple of articles myself also. So that's one. And with regards to the interior design, I also have other angels that help me with it. So I have a girl who does the she does the drafting, right?
Okay.
D. So I sketch everything. I tell her how I want things to look like, and she'll put it into the computer and draft everything. And she'll send it to me. I'll edit, and then until we get what we want. And I also have before we left for Hong Kong, I had another girl who would source stuff for me. So
Okay.
she'd go out to all the shops around Metro Manila and look for the perfect piece of furniture that would fit for that project. And of course, I also have an accountant. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not doing everything yourself, which I thought you were
Oh, but it's
doing.
all outsourced. Yeah,
Right.
so
So
I just meet with them virtually or like in Starbucks or something. Yeah.
so it's not wrong to ask for help. Advice
No,
from the moms
definitely.
there.
Yes, it's not wrong to ask for help. We cannot do everything. You really need to delegate. And it's also not wrong to put yourself out there, like what I did with Mirza.
Right.
Yes.
Marilen,
What's your slogan or what do you say? Go
join
lang
lang
ng
ng
go.
join.
Join lang ng join. O
That's my
yun.
slogan, which I couldn't even follow when I, because after I retired from corporate life and I was thrust in this new world of content creation, Marilen was so super generous and helpful and pushy in a way that I needed because she made me believe that it's doable, it's possible, it's easy. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. And so here we are.
And look at you. This TikTok show has been ongoing for how many months already? Like two
Well,
or three months?
since April, but
Wow.
yeah, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other and
Nice.
always looking at what you're doing actually because you do it so well.
Gosh, thank you so much. But yeah, and here I am always thinking of how I can improve. What can I do next? I guess it never stops that way. I need to be more organized. Maybe I should buy a planner again because this cell phone's not working. Things like
If you need to be more organized, paano naman kaming lahat? Because I was just gonna say, it takes a very organized mindset to be able to do everything that you do. Like, I guess your family is your priority, and so homeschooling you cannot delegate. But all the things that you delegate and coordinate with, in addition to like shooting all your content, and then as I am discovering, we are our own hair and makeup artist,
right.
script writer, photographer, videographer, talent coordinator, right? How do you organize it all? Share naman your secrets.
Sure. You know what? It's funny how you say that you always look at what I'm doing because I look
I
at what you
do.
are doing. No, to be honest. So, a big part of this all is, I guess, intuition. But with intuition comes being observant and being true to yourself. So, I look up to people like you. I also, um, there was a time when I was editor in chief of an interior design magazine, and I remember I really looked up to Tweety, your friend, Tweety De Leon. And so I put her on the cover of the magazine because she really epitomized what I wanted to project, but also because I looked up to her and I wanted to learn from her. And so I was able to go to her house and I interviewed her. And I remember asking her, how do you do it all? And so her answer was, first and foremost, you have to know what your priorities are. So she says, my
Wow.
priorities are the family, and then this and that and that. And that holds true for me also today, even without maybe Tweety spelling it out for me. I think I would have discovered that myself along the way. But that really helped. Is there an echo? Anyways, so I have to know what the priorities are. So first, my family. And so how do I do it? In the morning, we homeschool. We start maybe at around 10. We start at 10 because the earlier part of the morning is for me and my workout time.
Oh.
So I work out and I get that over with, right? And after that, from 10 until 2 or 3, we are homeschooling. After the the school day ends, I get to do things that I need to do. Like before the GCQ, it was attending events, and then it would also be working on my interior design projects. Or now it's guesting on shows like this via Zoom. Yeah, so that's how it works. It Throughout the day, I'm answering emails on my phone, or
Right.
like I am doing things that a housewife would do, which is to source food, to schedule this, to pay bills online. So it happens throughout the whole day. And um, once you get into the routine of it, I think it
Right.
will be
Right.
natural. Yeah.
Right. Do you have like a time management tool or app or system?
For the longest time, I used the pen and paper, and I had like really. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go back to that because as I said a while ago, parang the iPhone is just not cutting it. That put in calendar. I don't know. So I might go back to having an organizer or like a planner. Yeah.
Back to analog.
Yeah.
Well, I also saw, because I was doing research on you, and I saw, uh, or maybe either I heard a podcast or I saw a video where you talked about even when you were young, you knew what you wanted out of life. And you said in that interview that
Mhm.
knowing what you want and spelling it out can really clarify your direction and make things easier. And you even mentioned, what do you want in a boyfriend? What do you want in a man? What
Oh
kind of
my
life
gosh,
do you want?
yes.
uh,
Where did you see this?
Syempre,
Where
research ko lahat. Maybe you
galing mo.
can give us some tips on how this kind of thinking has helped you. And how did you become that way? Like, did your parents teach you that? Or how come you were so determined at so young an age, or so clear about your direction and how to live life? Because so many people, I don't want to call them mistakes, but life is about trying out things, and in the process we make mistakes. But maybe it makes sense that if you already determine early on what you want, maybe it will be less complicated.
Yes, yeah, that's so true. There are different people that influenced me. Definitely my parents. They brought us up in a godly way, and they made us see their mistakes, and they led by example as well. But then I had a teacher in high school that really mentored me a lot. Well, she's just an excellent teacher. She's so talented in everything from art to theater, and she went beyond just being a teacher because she talked to us about life, and so that was one. And then um way back, even in high school and in college, I think I've always been a type A personality. I remember, I think the boys hated me because I would always be the one monitoring the class and saying, quiet, like, be quiet. Like, yeah, so parang I was so type A that my notes were always in order and my binder got stolen right before exams. So
Oh my gosh.
can you imagine?
It's like a
Anyway,
trapper keeper.
yeah, yeah, it got stolen, and then so I had to borrow a classmate's binder and photocopied everything. And then, true enough, right after exams, it was returned, right?
So may nainis lang sa'yo.
Kasi wala siyang notes, so gusto niya kunin
Okay.
yung
Oh
notes.
my gosh.
So I'd already been that type of person.
Right.
But in college, of course, like I let loose and I had fun, and my grades were really, like slacking and all that. And I just remember that okay, I can either be that type of person, but what's it gonna do to them, or that's all temporary. And so I
Right.
always look at into the future and said, where am I going, or where's my destination, and what really matters? Does this matter right now, that I'm happy right now because I'm drunk, or things like that, right? Or I can still have fun and drink a little, but I can be with it, and I can be I can be accomplished and all that. So I had decided early on what I wanted to do with life. And I came across a quote. I think it went somewhere along the lines of, um, you learn from other people's mistakes instead of waiting to experience the mistake yourself. Life is not easy. So if you can simplify it as much as you can, then you will cut yourself all the tears and all the trouble. So I tried to do that. And as I've said, I looked up to people like you guys, and I studied you guys. And
Wow.
like no, I mean, like, like, what image do I want to portray or project, and what do I want to be known as? Yeah.
Right. And what did you want to be known as?
I wanted to be known as someone whole, like someone well-rounded, someone whole. I carefully chose the projects that I did with regards to modeling. There were a couple of bad choices, but thankfully, I was able to get out of that situation. And so, like, because it's either you maintain a certain clean, what was it, what's the term, it's not aura, a clean name for yourself, and choose wholesome endorsements, right, which
Right.
bring the big bucks. Or you can go pa sexy, but I'm thinking, bakit pa ako magpapa-sexy? What's that gonna do for me, right? So, yun.
And then, did you chart your path towards going back to your interior designing? Did you know already that modeling was just temporary and you were going to do other things after that?
Yes, because made it a goal to finish interior design and to graduate college before I went into modeling full blast, so
Okay.
that I still have something else to do, right? Even
Right.
if I'm not able to model anymore, or even if I'm not able to host TV shows anymore.
Right.
And there were times when, of course, like any other person, I guess you are down and you don't know what to do next, right? And
Right.
so there is that period of time when you're really soul searching. What do I want to do? I'm not so interested in interior design anymore, or, this is not cutting it, this is not working, things like that. But you have to believe in the goodness of God, and believe in yourself that um, you will rise up again and you will find your way again. Yeah.
Right. And then, how did you meet your husband, Hans? And tell us
Yeah, okay.
your love story and how
True.
it has evolved through the years. Were you modeling together when you met?
Yeah, so I was modeling for Chapard, the watch brand, and he was a guest model there. So Jackie Aquino was the director. And remember, he
Hi,
was trying
Jack.
to talk to me. Yeah. He was trying to talk to me. Hans was trying to talk to me. And then I was thinking, for some reason, he was talking in Tagalog, right? And so I'm like, deep inside, okay, you're cute, but you're talking in straight Tagalog. Why don't you talk to me in English? And so I came to the conclusion na, oh no, baka he's like so into this whole artista thing. There's nothing wrong with that, ha? There's nothing wrong with that. But I I had my reservations. But ano, he charmed me. Eh.
So first impression was
Yeah. And
not in his favor. And then what changed your
yes, what changed my mind was I had not even left the show. Right after the fashion show, I walked out of the dressing room and I caught him asking Nicolette for my phone number.
Oh.
And Nicolette was like, he was caught in the act, the number of Marilen. And Nicolette was like, oh, ayan o, tanong mo na lang siya. So he was talking to me. He carried my bag. And then I
Ah,
remember Tito Jackie Aquino's like, oh no, what's happening? And Tito
oh
Jackie's like,
no.
no, you don't want to get into hands. You don't want.
Bakit daw?
I don't know. Yeah, basta yun. Um, and I had a boyfriend at that time.
Oh, the
So,
plot thickens.
yeah. And so, um, he brought me to my car and I was driving home and he was texting me already. And I'm like,
Ah,
I'm driving. So just can you just wait and you can call me when I in like 20 minutes or something. And so he was asking me out and all that by text. And so when he called and I spoke to him, I said, I'm really flattered that you're asking me out, but I need to be honest with you. I have a boyfriend. I'm seeing someone right now. I have a boyfriend. He's like, oh, okay,
oh,
And then what he said is when he put the phone down, he called. It was Kat Arambolo that told that got Hans to join that fashion show. And
oh.
the way he made Hans join that fashion show was to say that there's this girl that I think you will like, which was me. And so right after he put the phone down, he called Kat and he was like, Kat, my boyfriend yung ano mo yung gusto mo para sa akin, ganyan. And Kat was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, ganyan, ganyan.
It
So
was a plot pala.
ito sa plot pala, 'di ba? Because Kat
Matchmaking
used to work
plot.
for SSI.
Oh,
But we kept in touch. So Hans would keep in touch. And to be honest, that relationship was on the rocks also. It was like
all
we were
right.
like on 7 years going nowhere, right?
Okay.
And so eventually we broke up and then Hans and I met again and there.
Right. And so did he fall into the criteria that you had set about what you're looking for in a boyfriend?
Because I had written that criteria way back in high school when I did not really know anything about the world. And my
What changed the
criteria was like, yeah,
criteria?
my criteria was probably like handsome, athlete. I wanted an athlete, and then tall, and then does not smoke, does not do drugs. Yan lang, ganyan lang kasimple. Eh di pasado siya.
Abusado siya.
Yeah.
And obviously much more because how long have you been married?
Yeah, we met in 2005 and we've been married since 2008.
Oh wow.
So 12
So
years. Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And 2 kids later, here you are.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the sad and scary part of this interview, which I'm sure
Okay.
you don't want to relive again, but it will help a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
Is the story of how you got COVID.
All right. So, a lot of people want to know how I got it, right? And I don't have one sure theory of how I got it, but there are probably three. At that time, there were very few cases in Manila, and the man in Green Hills was not even in the news yet, or maybe it happened just around the time that I got sick, also. So I shot a TV commercial. And in that TV commercial, I was not wearing any mask. There were lots of people in the waiting room from other models, other talents to the crew. And unfortunately, that TV commercial role that I did, um, I needed to hold a cat. And it was a grumpy cat. I am a cat lover, but for some reason, this cat was grumpy. He didn't like being held. And so the cat bit me. And I messaged my ER doctor friend and he said, yeah, you need to get the rabies shot. And so 2 days later, I needed to go to the emergency room to get a rabies shot. Now you remember that things about COVID were so relaxed back then because
Right, right,
it seemed to have died down, right? And parang
right,
wala
right.
lang. So I remember walking into the elevator of our building not wearing a mask. Now the people inside, some of them had masks, some of them didn't. But there was this one American girl. She had a mask on, and then I didn't have my mask. And I was surprised to see her in the emergency room also. And I'm like,
Oh.
we were sitting maybe 2 or 3 feet away only. And I remember asking, "Oh, I saw you in the elevator. You live where I live. What's wrong?" And she's like, "I have fever and this and that." I'm like,
Mm.
"Oh, okay. So maybe that's one." Right? So either it was from the shoot, but then no one else reported getting sick
Right,
in that
right,
pictorial. It could have been that American lady. Or there was a time when I was working out in our gym in my building, and our gym is pretty small. It's like a home building condo gym, right? And there
right.
was this American man, kind of like a senior citizen, who just all of a sudden began coughing like really loud. And I'm like thinking, okay, cover, like, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
of course.
went out of the gym, but then I was still so relaxed that I still went back inside and continued working out. And he eventually left maybe 2 or 3 minutes after. So those were the three possibilities. Yeah. And I remember I suspected because I had dry sore throat and I had a mild cough. And I was very used to working out every day. So I've been working out daily, no miss, right? But for some
Right,
reason during that week, there were maybe 2 or 3 days where it seemed like I couldn't breathe. And so I
right,
had to skip workouts until a Saturday night where I really felt uncomfortable and I couldn't breathe the whole night. And suffice to say, I lost sleep and I waited until like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. before I woke up my husband. Before I woke up Hans, I was texting with my ER doctor already. And he said, okay, he had questions like, do you travel? Do you
right.
smoke? So no travel, no smoking, but yes, I'm asthmatic. And he's like, I've seen things progress really fast in the last few days with someone with asthma. So you really need to go to the ER. I'm like, oh
Right.
shoot,
And
right.
then when it was
Yeah.
determined that you were COVID positive, you had to self quarantine in your mother in law's condo unit for how long?
Oh, that was so long. So after my ER visit, I never really actually went home anymore. I never had
Oh, straight
to,
to the unit.
yeah, I had to go straight to the unit and I was never able to say goodbye to the children. I had
Right,
to isolate. And remember, things were so new with this
right,
whole COVID thing in the Philippines that there was only RITM doing the testing. And
right.
so my test results did not come back until 10 days after. Would you
Oh my
believe?
gosh.
So
The agony.
after 10 days, and the doctor calls me and he's like, yeah, it's positive, but we've been discussing your case with the infectious disease doctors. How are you? I said, I'm okay, like it comes in waves. There are times when I'm really so tired. There are times when I can't breathe, but it's been okay. It's like, okay,
Right.
we've been discussing, and it seems that you are now on your day 10, which means that the worst is over, right?
Okay.
And so
Okay.
just continue what you're doing and all that. And then maybe it was a combination of like um panic, or maybe it was still the virus, but I remember having difficulty breathing again that night. Yeah.
Oh. But you said at the height of it, you could only breathe as if you were breathing through a straw, and you couldn't even talk or eat
Ah,
because you couldn't breathe.
yes. So I could not talk like this because I was so out of breath. I could not even eat. Just eating alone or brushing my teeth was so tiring and would leave me breathless. So that's
Wow.
how, yeah, that's why I'm so I'm so passionate about um the way things are being handled here in the Philippines and all that, diba? Because I know what it's like.
Of
It's not the
course.
flu. It's not the
And your
flu.
and your case was actually just moderate, or
Yes,
was
my
it
case was moderate. Yeah.
right? How did you how did you cope? I mean, besides praying, because I know that you're a very
Mm-hmm.
spiritual person. How did you
Mm-hmm.
occupy your time, and how did you deal with the isolation away from your family, like from somebody who was with her children all the time,
Yeah. I
being a
think that was the
homeschooler,
hardest part for
right?
me.
How
I
did you
was forced
manage?
to I was forced to come to terms with reality and surrender my children to God. I think that was the hardest part of it all.
Right,
Having to admit and having to surrender and say, I know that you love my children more than me, and I will trust in that. And whatever happens to me, I will trust in you. So that was the most difficult part. But I said, I'm going to fight this, and I fought it with prayer. I fought it by reading the Bible and holding on to God's promises. And I just really kept myself busy. Whenever there was a bad thought that would enter my mind, I would make a
right.
conscious effort to cast it away, to get up and do something else. And
Wow.
then I slept a lot. I slept a lot. I also was working on an interior design project in
Work
Singapore.
on it. How can you work when you cannot breathe?
Yeah, so um, there are times when the breathing is okay.
Okay.
I had a really, really nasty, dry, stuffy nose. That
Okay.
was very uncomfortable, and I was really very tired.
So you
But
could still sit up and like look at
yes,
things in your computer,
yes.
and then
So
it. Okay.
yeah, the thing with this virus is that, and many others have said, it comes in waves. So one day you're feeling good, you're feeling great. I would even do some stretches and some like light stretching exercises. But the next day you're just bam, like you can't do anything again.
Wow.
And so on the days when I felt strong, I would work. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So maybe it kept you going also.
Yes. Kept
And do
me
you have
busy.
any other tips about how to keep positive, how to keep mentally strong, how to um, strengthen your grit and your resilience emotionally and mentally?
Yeah. Um
I mean, how do you cast away negative thoughts when there's so much stimuli na negative, right? Every time you open your
yes.
phone, it's like bad
Right.
news.
I erased Facebook from my
Oh,
phone.
you erased it. Wow.
Yes. I muted all the toxic chat groups that were just
Okay.
talking about the virus. I
Okay.
muted that. And I really limited the news that I read. And I figured if it's super duper important news, my husband will tell me about it. So that's one. And then aside from that, it's really a mental game, really telling
Yeah.
yourself that no, you're not going to give into the fear.
Right.
Because like in the cartoons, there's an angel and there's a devil. Diba? So I believe in that like it
Okay.
these things are feeding our mind. And in the Bible it says that fear is not from God. And so I really rejected the fear. Every time I'd be so paranoid and think about the worst case scenario, I'd really like stop it and say, get out. And like I said, I'd do something else.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
You also said that it changed the way go wait, first of all, did you contemplate the prospect of dying? Did it
Yeah,
enter your mind? And
yes.
what helped you navigate that?
What helped me navigate that is knowing that I'm God's child. And if it does happen, I believe that He died on the cross for me. And so He paved the way for my salvation and that I'll be going to heaven. And like I said, He loves my children, He loves my family. And so He will take care of them. Yeah. So
Right.
that's how I had to come to grips with the whole situation.
So your spirituality was really helping
Yeah,
you get
yes,
through it.
yes,
Right.
yes.
And then I forgot the original question.
Uh,
Okay, you said it changed the way you look at life forever. And how did it do that?
um, well, we take so many things for granted, you
Right.
know, but now look at what we just need. We just need each other. We just need family. Right now, we are in Subic with literally just maybe 10 sets of clothes, right? Because we didn't plan to stay here long term. We don't have our entire house with us. We don't get to go shopping. We don't get to do what we used to do, but we're happy because these are things that God has blessed us with. And once you have perspective, all that really matters is that you are with your family, you get to embrace your children, you're careful. And at the end of it all, God loves us.
Yes, so many things. What are the things that you realize you didn't need besides material things, or what all the things that concerned us or made us neurotic before, di ba? Hindi pala kailangan.
I didn't need I didn't need high heels. I
I
didn't need
know.
fancy shorts and skirts.
Nabubulok na yung mga heels natin. But actually,
Bubulok.
makeup we still need for our work, di ba?
Yes. Yeah, so now it's baliktad. I don't wear
Oo.
makeup anymore when I go out because when I go out I'm in a mask anyways.
At
But when
home.
you're at home and you're on Zoom, you need makeup.
One reason that I love reading your posts also is uh, this is a corny word, authenticity. It's a
Yeah.
key word now, but I'm so amazed by how you're posting pictures of yourself barefaced. Kasi maganda naman talaga barefaced and working out. And then I think your one of your last few posts was a workout picture where you said, I may not be as skinny as I once was. And this is
Yeah.
a body issue that former models truly grapple with. I know it might seem
Yes.
superficial to other people,
Mhm.
but it's something that really affects us because we're always being compared, or ourselves comparing our old bodies to our new. And then, but you
Mhm.
said, this is the most fit I've ever been, and I'm so strong. Do you want to talk about
Yes.
coming to terms with this and how you are helping encourage people to be kinder to their bodies and themselves?
Right. So I've always been an athletic person. I was a varsity player in high school and college for volleyball. And so I was really used to the rigorous training. We would train for like 4 or 5 hours. And even if I was training like that, I was not eating healthy. During college, when I was in varsity, I would have cheeseburgers from McDo with French fries and like sagot gulaman with all the sugar and all that. And then when I graduated from college, I got into modeling where I was not the thinnest. And as I mentioned, I needed to lose 10 pounds. And so I would starve myself. I would have Starbucks green tea frappuccino for lunch. And maybe that and another drink for breakfast and maybe just have one meal a day. But it was so unhealthy, really. And I was thin. My weight was down. I was probably only 115 or 110 pounds. But I did not have muscle, right? Even if I was working out in the gym, my workout was just to really be skinny. I didn't lift weights, so I wasn't strong. And then, so what I'm saying now is at 41, I have discovered the importance of good nutrition, eating really well for your body, not just to look thin or not just to look
Right.
good, but to be happy and to be healthy and to be whole. And I started last December 23. I committed to this workout program that I do. It's by Rebecca Louise. It's the Burn workout program. And so I've been exercising daily for 30 to 45 minutes. Like I remember watching your
No.
workout videos. Yeah.
Not
And so I
lately.
lift weights. Yeah. And so
Okay.
I lift weights. I'm really strong now. And for the first time ever in my life, I have a little bit of abs. That never happened, not even when I was super skinny. Yeah.
Right. And you're not afraid to show, like in the earlier times before the abs came. You're really showing like your whole body, diba? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I
Bill and all. Ang galing.
yes, yes. To be honest, I kind of like, okay, should I show this? Should I not? But then I want people to know who I am, and I want to encourage
Right.
people. What's my main goal here? My main goal here is to be an inspiration. And that's
Right.
why they call us influencers, right? But
Right.
I want to influence people for the better. And I want
Right.
them to know that you need to take care of yourself. And
Right.
so I look like this. This was my tummy, but here it is now, right? Before and after. And um, I'm not the healthiest because I do have some autoimmune issues, like I have hypothyroidism, which means it's even more difficult for me to lose weight. But
Right.
I'm able to do it because you just
Right.
need to maintain a healthy lifestyle
Right.
and
And
exercise.
you have a daughter, Sab, who is 10, right?
8. She's 8.
8, 8. And what are
Yeah.
you, and it's a very impressionable age. She's seeing things on
Mm-hmm.
the internet, social media. What are you teaching her about self-image, body image, and all these things that was a big part of our lives and our mentality?
Well, I teach my kids, I tell both of them that it does not matter what other people think about you because they don't know the real you. What matters is what God thinks of you and what how God sees you. So that's what I always tell them and that's what I always remind them. And then I teach them about how you should take care of your body and eat healthy. So like they know me as the one with the healthy food and they know that
Okay.
I won't allow them to buy this junk food or that. And when
Right.
I do, like last week I bought all the cereal that their friends eat, like ano ba yun? Mga Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops, ganyan. So I
Nako.
said, okay, this is a treat, because I want you to taste it. I want you to know what it tastes like, but this is not going to be part of the weekly grocery list.
Right.
Things like that. So everything in moderation, and they know that they need to eat their vegetables and they like it. And I'm so happy because my daughter now, she's the one that looks for the exercise. So she'll say, "Mommy,
Oh.
are you going to exercise? I want to exercise with you." Because
Oh.
we really require them to work out
Okay.
every day, like,
It's good to
because
start them
otherwise,
young.
yeah. So they have to do a workout every day. They follow something for kids. And before, of course, Sabi had her gymnastics. Well,
Right.
now she stopped the gymnastics for a while, but she does other things, and that's what she likes to do. She says, "I want to work out with you and get it over with." That's what she says.
A lot of our experiences when as children about negative self-image comes from other children, right? Do you think they're kind of uh, not exposed to that because they are homeschooled? So parang it would be hard for them to get bullied or go
Yeah,
through all those things that other kids go through.
yes, yes. Of course, there's that certain aspect, but they do know about bullying because we talk to them about it, and they watch all these shows on Netflix where
Right,
they see kids are getting bullied, and so I process it with them, and I tell them, you don't ever allow anyone to do this to you, or what do you do if you encounter this situation. When we were in Hong Kong, they took self-defense classes, that sort of thing. And so they are not clueless to
right,
that
right.
fact. But it's really, I think the emphasis that I put is it doesn't matter what other people think about you or what they say about you.
Right. Good. So another Dami kong ni-research, no?
Ang galing mo.
Something that kept coming up is your belief in how beautiful surroundings, if we create beautiful surroundings, beautiful and clean, organized surroundings, the quality of our life will be upgraded or amplified. And this seems to be your why. This seems to be your mission. Can you tell us how you came up with that mission and how you are continuing to do that for others?
Yes. So this started when I put up my blog, and the mission of my blog became enabling and inspiring others to live an organized life, because I believe that when your surroundings are inspiring and organized, then you will have less stress. Your husband will be happier because he's more relaxed and he likes what he sees when he gets home from work.
And also
And
you.
also you will be less stressed because he's not on your case. And then things will be so much simpler because you know where to find things. You're cooking in your kitchen and you don't have to scramble through the inner depths of the kitchen drawer to look for something, because you know where things are. And most importantly, we don't need much. So simplify, declutter, because you don't need um, you don't need like 5 sets of plates, right? Or you don't need like 1,000 Tupperwares, or you don't need
You
all
don't?
these mugs that don't match or don't belong to a set. So that's what I end up teaching. So I taught this in a lot of seminars, and I got
Right.
invited to talk about these, and that's what I talk about also in the blog.
And what is essentially the secret to doing that? Besides Marie Kondoing your
Yeah.
surroundings, but what is the secret to making your space spacious and clutter free and organized and beautiful?
Yeah, so I have 3 steps. My first step is you really need to declutter. So I have a checklist of things that will get you thinking. Do you really need this? Have you used it? When was the last time you used it? If it was 6 months ago, you don't need it. Things like that. After you declutter, you need to get rid of that. And this decluttering is not a one-time thing. You have to do it at least every quarter, right? And then after you declutter, you need to organize. So I always say that if something does not have a home, which is like a container or a box, or if something is not hidden in a drawer or a piece of furniture, then that is clutter. You need to hide that. You need to get that away. That's an eyesore. You don't just leave things lying on a table. It needs to be put out properly, and once you do that, once you're able to organize things, you can now begin to decorate. So you can put plants, you can put decor, because why will you put decor if there's clutter around it? Why will you put decor if you have like bottles of medicine, piles of paper beside it? It's useless, right? Yeah.
Right. You also seem to be very systematic. In fact, you created an entire home manual that I saw
Yeah.
in your blog, and it has everything from grocery lists to children's schedules. Do you want to tell us about it and how did you
Yes.
think of that and how create it?
Okay. So if you go to marilenstyles.com, at the very end, scroll down, you can actually enter your email. And when you do so, when you sign up to my email list, you will get the complete home manual. It is a printable PDF file and it contains everything that will enable you to run your house on autopilot. That's what I say. So my helpers use it. I print it out, I laminate it, and when it's laminated, you are able to erase and rewrite, and so you can change things up. So what do I have in that? Okay, so I have a weekly menu planner, and it's interchangeable, good enough for 1 month. I have a grocery list, I have an emergency contacts list, I have a daily cleaning schedule and a monthly cleaning schedule so that each helper knows their task for a certain day. And then sometime within that day, there is a slot that will say, do your monthly cleaning schedule task. And so they refer to the monthly cleaning schedule. And let's say it's August 11. They'll see that on August 11, they need to clean all the electric fans. So they do that once a month. Or maybe next week, let's say maybe August 15, they'll look at the monthly cleaning schedule, and the special task that they need to do on that day is to wash and disinfect all the trash cans. Things like that. So things that you don't have to do on a daily basis is there. So it's a good reference for them. And I created that because when we were living in Hong Kong, I had a lot of expat friends who had Filipino helpers. And so some of those pages have a Tagalog translation. And
Wow.
so it
Wow.
made things easy. Yeah.
Wow. And did you say it's for sale or is it?
It's free if you
It's
sign up to my
free.
email list.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Oh my
It will
gosh.
go
That's
to your
so
email and
helpful.
then you print it. You print it yourself.
So I'm
Yeah.
flashing at the bottom of the screen all the website link and
Yeah, thank you.
the Instagram. Wow, that's really, really helpful. And what are the other things that you've been up to or are uh, gonna do that you would like to tell us about, if any?
Um, yeah, sure. So now I'm focusing on getting back with regards to my fitness because I had to stop because of the virus, and then I had to rest for a while because I had to undergo a very minor skin procedures,
Okay.
and so I couldn't exercise for 3 weeks. So now I'm focusing on building my strength again and getting my health back so that I can go back to my exercise routine. Aside from that, I also focusing on an online business. Yeah, that is kind of like a part time that will give me passive income. So that's what I do also. Yeah, you can
Wow.
PM me if you're interested.
Hi, always so helpful and always so generous with advice and tips and this is something I see in all your interviews. You just really tell people, just DM me and I'll tell you where.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you
Just DM
so
me.
much, Marilen.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's
for
an honor
helping
to be here.
Thank you for helping
Yeah,
us aspire to create a beautiful space for a beautiful life.
you're
We can only
welcome. Thank
aspire
you.
to have a space as beautiful as yours. And thank you for spreading also your message of hope, positivity, and resilience.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope we can have lunch again soon.
Yes, right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Bye.
Okay, it's been fun.
Yeah,
Take
so much
care.
fun. I wish we could go on forever, but baka
Yes,
you have
take care.
to do other things pa. All right. Bye. Thank you. Bye, everyone. This has been TikTok, and I'll see you very soon.